think that traditionally, people have gone towards healing for the purpose of feeling better, and in addition to that, in the last 30 years, getting richer, being healthier, getting the man you want, you know, like get your mind on what you want, go after it, and what's in the way of getting to it, and go to it. And that's been a lot of what our movement has been about. See, but that isn't the divine guidance I've gotten, because the divine guidance I've gotten is surrender to the higher consciousness. And that means it's not my agenda. So, you know, when people say, well, if I come to see you, am I going to be able to make a better living? I say, I don't know. You know, am I going to get the man? I don't know. If it's for your highest well-being, you will, and if it isn't, you won't. And that's kind of because the surrender to higher consciousness. So when we clean up all of this stuff, where's the payoff, right? Now, people want something for all this hard work of confrontation of ourselves. But actually the joy of confronting ourselves is that we become freed up from the limitations of ourselves. You know, there's a prayer that I heard years ago, which was, free me from the bondage of self. It's like, yes! You know, the aggravation, the stress, the upset that we go through just because of ourselves. Wham, 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 inside, badger, 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 negative, negative, negative. You know what I mean? Fear, 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 want, want. Oh my God. You know. Who wants it? I would like to be freed up from that, wouldn't you? I mean, wouldn't that be enough? You want to get rich too? I've had clients who are very wealthy, the most neurotic people I've ever met. I have a client, multi-millionaire, who had bullion under the bed. So we know that getting the things on the outside are not changing the way we feel. You look at the most beautiful woman, she's done 74 plastic surgeries and she still feels insecure. So what is all this external stuff getting us anywhere? And I think what I like about what James is doing is that he and we are really focusing on the same thing, the abundant well-being on the inside, because life sucks. You know, you ask the question in the beginning, you know, why is it so stressful? Well, because that's the way it is. Because that's the way it's designed. And I'm telling you that, you know, when we were in the caves and we were worrying about the saber-toothed tiger at the door, we weren't making that up. That was not a product of our bad thinking. It was, there was a saber-toothed tiger at the door, you know, and it's very nerve-wracking when you see your child being dragged away by a wild animal. And I think that it's built in to the psyche of humanity, fear. You know, fear of the unknown and of the uncontrollable. You know, when you're a farmer and suddenly there's a flood or there's a drought or there's this or that, you know. Life is scary. Of course we're scared. We don't have to make anything up for life to be scary. But then on top of that, we have these patterns where we do create all kinds of problems. You know, no matter how good things are going, it's like, yeah, but could it go away? But what about it? And what is he thinking? And what am I thinking? Well, did you see that wrinkle? I mean, you know, the stuff we get to worry about on top of all the things that we really should be worrying about. So we do have all this anxiety, and to be released from all that stress on the inside, I mean, to me, that's the payoff. It's what I call spiritual wealth. You know, that's so we can face everything. You know, maybe we can't stop the Holocaust, but we could be one of the few people whistling in it. You know, and that's really it. That's what we're aiming for, is a real inner well-being. And in order to have that, we have to connect to higher consciousness. Because, I don't know about you, but left to my own devices, I'm a nut. Does anyone identify with that? Thank you! Thank you. You know, it's like jabber, 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 anxious, anxious, anxious. He this, she that. You know? And then all of a sudden there's this calm, that moment of peace that comes when, you know, suddenly you've been graced by, yes. And that's what we all want. That's why we go to churches, and that's why we come to places like this. Is how are we going to get that? And there's only one way to get that, which is to open ourselves to those divine energies. James wrote down that I was going to speak about divine consciousness, and I'm glad you did. Because there it is. I mean, I'm not saying that divine consciousness is all cherries and apple pie. Definitely not apple pie because it's got sugar in it. But what I am saying is that in that divine consciousness, which also includes the storms and the hurricanes and everything else that we don't like, there is peace. And there is a well-being that we as human beings cannot recreate by ourselves. Anyone who has ever had an experience of a blissful, higher consciousness state knows what I'm talking about. You know, it's like you have this grace suddenly, and you're not that nut anymore. And in that place, you're not ADD, and you're not bipolar, and you don't have a mood disorder, and you're not fat, and you're not whatever it is that you are or you think you are. And you're not poor. And you're not alone. Because you feel blessed by some energy that just comes to us. And what I'm suggesting is, maybe that could become our normal state. And doing this kind of what I call shit shoveling work, because, you know, in intuitive counseling we just go into all that. And why did you say this? And why did you do that? All this self-awareness, 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 getting clear, getting clear. In the end, we become more and more accessible and available to that divine consciousness. And why this is so important today is that our world is a mess. And I don't think anybody here would deny that. The pain, the violence, the addiction. Okay, you're perfect, perhaps, but nobody else in the world is, as we all know, right? You know, and we keep trying to fix these problems, and we've discovered that we cannot fix them from the outside. You know, I was a revolutionary, social revolutionary till my mid-30s, when I was a social activist, and I finally got it. Not that I don't think that there's an important place for that, but we can't fix it from the outside because the people who are fixing the problem are as screwed up as the people who created the problem, because we are one. We're all screwed up. So we have to fix it from the inside. We have to find a way to become available to divine consciousness that's going to lead our lives. That's going to guide us so that the ego doesn't say, I really need this, and I'm going to focus on this, and I don't care what the cost is, to me or to anybody else. And then we get this, and it's not worth it anyway. That we really start to have faith that there is a higher consciousness, that it is available to us, and that it is for our highest good, as James puts it, you know, the title of his book. That it is really for our highest good, and that is what is really going to give us peace. So today is the day. And every day is the day for us to take that step and make that commitment. I am clearing myself, not just for me, but because I want to be part of a movement of transformation where we collectively become available to guidance. Get out of the old ego ways of fighting each other for the crumbs on the table. And learn how to come into a place of well-being and allow the beneficial energies of the universe to fill us so that we can be a blessing to everyone. And I believe that everyone in this room wants to be a blessing, or you wouldn't be here. So it's no longer about I'm here for me, and just for me, because I want that guy, or I want to lose weight, or I want this. I'm here for everything. I'm here for everybody. I'm here for the people who aren't even thought of yet, but will be born tomorrow. I'm here for God. To do my part in shifting human consciousness from this ego-based, me-based, fighting each other, tense, stressful reality, to one where we can actually become true manifestations of divine consciousness and become a blessing to ourselves and each other.